They told me retirement would be the beginning of peace. Mornings on the porch, afternoon walks, a slower life with more meaning. But they never warned me about what I started noticing a few years after I turned 65. People around me, friends, neighbors, even my older brother, started disappearing not suddenly, but silently. One by one. Not from car accidents or tragic diseases, but from quiet things, unnoticed things. Habits so small they slipped under the radar until it was too late. You see, what kills seniors today isn't always cancer or heart failure. Sometimes it's a glass of cold water, or skipping breakfast, or watching the wrong kind of news. I know that sounds crazy, but if you're over 60, I urge you to stay with me. Because what I'm about to reveal isn't based on fear, it's based on 40 years of observing patterns, mistakes, and what I now call the silent triggers. These are the tiny, daily habits that seem harmless, but quietly sabotage your sleep, weaken your heart, raise your blood pressure, damage your memory, and even accelerate death. And the worst part? No one is warning you about them. Not your doctor, not the health commercials, not even your family. So let me be the one to tell you. I've lived long enough to see what happens when good people unknowingly let these habits take over. And if this video reaches even one person in time, maybe it will buy them a few more good years. Let's begin with the first silent trigger. One you probably did this morning. Silent trigger number 1. Drinking cold water first thing in the morning. It's something nearly everyone does without thinking. You wake up. You're thirsty. You reach for a glass of ice-cold water from the fridge. But for seniors, especially those over 65, this simple act could be harming your internal organs. Here's why. When we sleep, our body temperature naturally drops, our circulation slows, and our digestive system is at rest. Suddenly, shocking your body with cold water, especially on an empty stomach, can cause your blood vessels to constrict. For older adults with weaker cardiovascular systems, this can lead to a spike in blood pressure or even trigger arrhythmia. What's more, cold water interferes with the production of digestive enzymes. It slows down the absorption of essential nutrients. Over time, this reduces immunity and energy levels. I had a patient once, Mrs. Dunlap, age 72. She had chronic fatigue and recurring digestive issues. She was taking all the right vitamins, eating well but still deteriorating. When I asked about her mornings, she told me proudly, "I always start with a tall glass of ice water. It's refreshing." That one habit was undoing everything else. Within a week of switching to warm lemon water, her bloating vanished, her energy returned, her blood pressure stabilized. Cold water sounds harmless, but for an older body, it's a silent trigger. Replace it. You'll notice the difference within days. Silent trigger number 2. Skipping breakfast or delaying first meal until noon. Intermittent fasting is trendy these days. You've probably heard people say, "I don't eat until noon, it helps me lose weight." But here's the truth no one tells seniors. Fasting past 10 a.m. can be dangerous after 65. Why? Because your metabolism has already slowed. Your blood sugar becomes less stable. Your brain, especially your memory center, needs glucose early to function clearly. Skipping breakfast can lead to morning fog, dizziness, mood swings, and increased cortisol levels. And elevated cortisol, your stress hormone, is directly linked to memory loss, abdominal weight gain, and even heart strain. I once saw an 80-year-old former firefighter, big, strong guy, come into my clinic with sudden forgetfulness. He was proud of his discipline, skipping breakfast, walking 5 miles before eating. But his body wasn't responding the same way anymore. His brain was starved. His muscle was breaking down. We reintroduced a small, protein-rich breakfast: soft-boiled eggs, oatmeal, or Greek yogurt. 3 months later, his memory test scores improved. He told me, "Doc, I feel like I got 5 years back." Seniors are not 30-year-old fitness influencers. You need nourishment early. It doesn't have to be a feast, just enough to tell your body it's safe to function, safe to heal, safe to think. Skipping that signal every morning quietly weakens you until you no longer bounce back. Let me tell you something that might sound unbelievable. Some of the strongest seniors I've known, mentally sharp, physically active, full of life, weren't the ones with perfect genetics. They were the ones who knew how to protect their rhythm, their daily rhythm. Because once that rhythm breaks, your body begins to lose track of itself. And that brings me to the third silent trigger. It's subtle, but it's stealing hours, sometimes years, from people who think they're just staying informed. Silent trigger number 3: watching stressful news or negative content first thing in the morning. We live in a world of constant noise news, alerts, political outrage, disasters on every screen. And for seniors who wake up alone, the television often becomes the first companion of the day. But here's what most don't realize. The emotional tone you set in the first hour of your morning can dictate your hormones for the next 8-12 hours. Cortisol, adrenaline, and other stress chemicals spike when you absorb negative input, especially early. For seniors, who often already have higher baseline cortisol due to age-related stress response changes, this is a recipe for chronic inflammation, sleep disruption, heart strain, and mood instability. I had one patient, Mr. Gerald, 78 years old. Every morning, his routine was coffee and the morning news, which was usually filled with violence, economic fear, and division. He couldn't figure out why he felt anxious all day, even when nothing went wrong. We changed one habit. Instead of turning on the news, I had him listen to classical music, morning affirmations, or even just sit in silence near the window for 20 minutes. The difference was immediate. His blood pressure dropped, his appetite returned, and for the first time in a long while, he said he felt peace when the day began. Seniors need calm mornings, not chaotic ones. The world will always have problems, but you don't need to inject them into your bloodstream before your breakfast. Silent trigger number 4: sitting for long periods without gentle movement every hour. Now this one is tricky because society quietly teaches seniors to slow down, sit more, rest more, take it easy. And while rest is important, what most don't understand is that prolonged sitting without movement starts a chain reaction in the aging body. Blood flow stagnates, muscles weaken, your metabolism slows, and even your brain function begins to dull. After just 60 minutes of sitting, your circulation begins to shift. Blood pools in the legs. Oxygen delivery to your brain drops. And if you've ever felt dizzy after standing up, you've likely experienced the beginning of orthostatic hypotension, a condition far more dangerous in older adults. I knew a retired librarian, Miss Betty. She spent her days reading, which she loved, but she would sit still for 4 or 5 hours at a time. One day she blacked out while simply walking to the kitchen. Her diagnosis? Blood pressure dysregulation caused by extended sitting. We didn't stop her reading. We just added a time every 45 minutes. She'd stand, stretch, take 20 slow steps, then return. Her balance improved. Her sleep improved. Her confidence returned. Gentle movement doesn't mean exercise. It means reminding your body, I'm alive. I'm circulating. I'm not shutting down. Silent trigger number 5: using bright screens at night without winding down. This one might surprise you. Most seniors think screen time is a problem for the young. But over the past 10 years, more and more older adults are using tablets, phones, and TVs deep into the night, scrolling through social media, binge-watching shows, reading news. And what they don't realize is that these screens emit strong blue light, which blocks melatonin, the hormone your body needs to fall asleep. Without melatonin, sleep becomes shallow. You wake up at 3 a.m. You toss. You turn. And over time, this sleep debt leads to weakened immunity, memory loss, irritability, and increased risk of Alzheimer's. I had a 69-year-old woman, Mrs. Elkins, who couldn't sleep for more than 3 hours at a time. She was on sleeping pills. Nothing worked, until we asked one simple question: "What's your bedtime routine?" Her answer: "Oh, I just play some solitaire on my iPad until I get sleepy." That one habit, combined with bedroom lighting and television noise, was wrecking her circadian rhythm. We replaced the screen with soft lighting, low-volume instrumental music, and a warm foot soak before bed. She started sleeping 5, then 6, then 7 hours. No pills, no tricks. Just giving her body the signals it needed to rest. Seniors don't need more medication. They need better rituals. Sleep isn't a switch, it's a gentle descent. And bright light at night is like shouting during a lullaby. The older I get, the more I realize that most people don't die all at once. They fade, gradually, silently. And it's not just the body that dim-sits the spark. The energy, the sense that your life still matters. That's why these next 2 silent triggers matter so much. Because they don't just affect your physical health, they slowly chip away at your emotional well-being, your sense of worth, and your connection to life itself. Let's finish this list not with fear, but with clarity. And if you see yourself in any of these habits, let this be the moment you begin again. Silent trigger number 6. Eating dinner too late, or skipping it entirely. Many seniors begin eating less in the evenings, not always by choice. Appetite declines, energy fades, or the loneliness makes meals feel more like chores. Some even believe skipping dinner is better for digestion. But what's rarely talked about is how important that evening meal is, not just for nutrition, but for your body's internal clock. Your circadian rhythm depends on routine cues: light, darkness, and food timing. When you skip dinner or eat too close to bedtime, your body doesn't get the proper signals to wind down or reset. Blood sugar becomes unstable overnight. Sleep becomes restless. And your liver, which works hardest during the night, doesn't receive the fuel it needs to perform critical detox functions. I met a retired nurse named Eleanor, age 74. She had chronic night sweats and fatigue, but no major illnesses. One evening, she told me she hadn't eaten dinner in years. Just tea and maybe a cracker, she said. We reintroduced a light but warm meal broth-based soups, soft vegetables, half a sweet potato. Within weeks, her sleep deepened, her energy improved, and she began smiling again. "I forgot what it felt like to go to bed satisfied," she told me. The ritual changed everything. Dinner isn't just food, it's a message to your body. The day is complete, and it's safe to rest. Silent trigger number 7. Avoiding social connection or staying emotionally isolated. This is the most dangerous one of all, the quietest. It doesn't show up on blood tests. No one writes prescriptions for it. But emotional isolation is now considered as deadly as smoking 15 cigarettes a day, and it's especially lethal for seniors. Because as we age, the world around us shrinks, children grow up, friends move away or pass on, routines change, but the human nervous system doesn't stop needing connection. In fact, it needs it more. Social bonds stimulate memory, reduce inflammation, improve immune response, and release oxytocin hormone that soothes the heart. I remember a man named Charles. He was 82 and had just lost his wife. "No one calls anymore," he said quietly. "I just watched the days go by." His vitals were fine, but his spirit was starving. We got him into a senior reading group at the library, not therapy, just human presence. 2 months later, his blood pressure dropped, he laughed more, and his eyes lit up when he spoke. "It's like I woke up again," he said. "You don't need a big circle, 1 or 2 people, a weekly call, a shared meal. Even pet companionship can make the difference. Because the moment a senior feels invisible, life begins to dim from the inside out." and no vitamin can fix that. Now you know. 7 habits, 7 silent triggers. And none of them are dramatic. None of them scream for attention. That's what makes them dangerous, because they slip into your life unnoticed. Like a draft through a crack, in the window subtle but chilling. The good news? You're still here. You're still breathing. That means you still have time to change, to shift the trajectory, to reclaim the years that haven't been lost, just quietly stolen. You don't need to overhaul your life. You just need to start noticing the tiny choices. Warm water instead of cold. A short walk instead of sitting too long. Turning off the news. Saying yes to a phone call. Eating before sleep. These are not just habits. They're lifelines. Invisible threads that hold your vitality together. I've seen it too many times. People who were fading suddenly bloom again, simply by undoing what was quietly breaking them. So here's what I want you to do. Choose one. Just one silent trigger from today's video. Replace it. This week. Notice what changes. Feel what improves. Then choose another. Because healing after 65 isn't a race. It's a return to your rhythm, your strength, your joy. The clock is still ticking, but you get to choose how the story ends. And sometimes, one small shift can add years to that story. Thank you for watching. Stay well, stay aware, and stay alive to the moments that matter.